The other day, I decided to check out something that always intrigued me. I've always wondered what those gigantic golf ball-looking things at the top of Palos Verdes Hills were. Since I assumed that there was no way to get close to these issues, I've never really been interested in coming up here. I was partly correct. These things are protected by several fences, and the path to access them is a private and inaccessible road. And also, the Palo Verde community is extremely vigilant, with police on heavy rotation throughout the entire peninsula. This, coupled with the fact that there is no public parking anywhere, could explain why Palo Verde was recently ranked as one of the safest communities in California, as it was designed to keep the public away. Anyway, back to these golf ball-like domes atop the hill. According to an article I read in the Daily Breeze, the round white structures are called radomes. They are translucent domes housing radar equipment. The dome exterior protects the instruments from the elements, while still allowing data to flow to and from them. It was built in 1960, and it started operating in 1961, during one of the coolest periods of the Cold War. Though the land was acquired by the U.S. Army in 1959, operation at the site was transferred to the Air Force. Formerly known as the San Pedro Hill Air Force Station, the installation was intended to be used jointly by the Air Force, the Army, and the Civil Aeronautics Authority, the predecessor to the Federal Aviation Administration, FAA. The system contained 2 height finder units and a search radar, allowing it to monitor military and civilian air traffic as part of the Air Force's Semi-Automatic Ground Environment (SAGE) system. The North American Air Defense System used SAGE to gather and distribute defense data. As part of the Nike missile defense system, the radar facility was originally intended to direct air defense missiles towards Los Angeles, with the CAA, and later the FAA, using it to track general air traffic in the area as well. The Air Force's 670th Radar Squadron, originally based on San Clemente Island, was transferred to San Pedro Hill to run the station, which underwent many improvements over the years. Annual open houses were held at the site during the mid-1960s. The 670th Radar Squadron marched in Torrance's Armed Forces Day Parade in 1965, and an F-102 Delta Dagger jet fighter took part in the festivities. Not everyone was in favor of a national defense site in their neighborhood. In January 1967, F.C. Ripley, who lived on Crest Road, 300 yards away from the station, wrote the mayor of Rolling Hills asking that it be moved because he feared it could be attacked. Although Vernon Fay acknowledged Ripley's concerns, he didn't take any action. It seemed impossible to move the facility, he said, and he thought residents should get used to living with such installations wherever they were. In the early 1970s, the Nike program ramped down, and the NORAD office on San Pedro Hill was shut down. On August 7, 1975, the government declared the site's NORAD capabilities non-essential, but it still played a big role for commercial aviation. Exactly 1 month later, on September 18th, the military transferred management of the entire site to the FAA. In April 1976, the military ended operations. After establishing a new data link with the U.S. Navy radar site on San Clemente Island, the Air Force stopped receiving data from the site. The FAA has been in charge of the site since 1976. Only one radome is used for long-range radar, known as Air Route Surveillance Radar, ARSR. Quote, "Even though the other radome is not active, there are operational antennas under the radome and other operational equipment in the building underneath the radome. This building is also the emergency operations facility for the FAA's Western Pacific region," unquote, said Ian Greger, communications manager of the FAA's Pacific Division. ARSR's radome tracks and displays all aircraft at all altitudes, not just one airport. Its data is used by the FAA's Los Angeles Center in Palmdale. While the FAA announced plans to close some of its radars nationwide, Greger says that the San Pedro Hill facility won't be shut down. This is the only radar installation in the harbor area in South Bay. One technician is permanently based at the site, which isn't open to the public. Final thought. I am glad we do have such systems in the harbor area. With the threat of nuclear war, I would like to have something alerting this area of any aerial threats.